Instagram. How are you today? We're going to be talking about fireworks safety as soon as I can get Isabel in here. Let's see. Oh, there she is.
Hi.
Hello,
How is everybody?
Okay.
Welcome to the weekly pet roundup. I will go live over on Facebook and YouTube now, so they can join us from over there.
Yeah, and let us know that you can hear us on Instagram as well. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Super excited about the. Okay, we're live on everywhere now.
Hi, everybody on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you for joining us for the weekly pet roundup. Today we're talking about fireworks safety.
I know, and this is like my week this week is all about like fireworks and stuff because Sean with Earth Buddy is on the podcast this week, and I wanted to get it out like as soon as possible because he gave a special discount code. So yeah, that's gonna go live this week. So this is just like the week of if you're not prepared, you need to prepare.
If you're not prepared, you need to prepare. Yes, absolutely. I think that's the biggest message to go out today is this is about the time that you should be prepared. So if you're not prepared, you are going to have to prioritize this over other things in your life for the sake of your pet. I'm very lucky that I have a noise-phobic dog who is now kind of losing her hearing, so she's not as sensitive as she used to be. But I am actually going to be traveling during July 4th. And I have a few considerations that I've obviously looked into. We have the same pet sitter coming every day who's been her pet sitter for a long time. So he obviously is that's going to be helpful for her so that it's not like a new person and noise and this and being left alone and all that. But also we live somewhere where we don't get a lot of fireworks. So I think that really it's like a very personal thing how you prepare, just because you need to take into consideration the age of your pet, how noise phobic your pet is, where you live and how active it's going to be on your street or in your vicinity. What past experiences your pet has had, right? Like if your pet is one of those that injured themselves in the past trying to get out of their crate or out of a room during fireworks, then you really have your work cut out for you. But if you've been there and just seen a slight increase in discomfort and anxiety in your pet, then maybe you don't have to go so far into it, even though there's no guarantee that this year may not be worse. So knowing all these things is how we pretty much start planning what to do. But you're about 2 weeks out now, maybe a little over,
maybe a little more. Yeah. But so okay, I thought I knew everything I was going to say today because this is just such a typical topic, right? Like we just have to talk about this every year because people don't prepare. Not to say that like it comes up on us so quickly, especially people who have kids, right? Like, and they're just getting out of school and everything starts getting chaotic. I get it. Like, I don't have kids, but like, I get it. And so I had a migraine yesterday and today, so I actually laid down today too to take a nap at lunchtime, and I could not fall asleep because this is all I was thinking about. And literally all I was thinking about was like, I never want to have a two-story house, but one thing that I am so envious of with people that have two-story homes is that closet under the stairs, because that closet under the stairs would be the perfect room to like set up for your dog just for this.
We have a two-story house, but we don't have a room under our stairs. We have a pantry that I think my dog would be like, "Why are you stuffing me in here?" So, yeah, that is ideal.
I want this like little Harry Potter room for my dog.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want. And because like that would be the ultimate, like right in the middle of the house, insulated, away from everything, no windows, right? So like when we think about how to set up a safe space, a quiet place for our pets, that's ideal. Like as close to the center of the house as possible, no windows, so we're not seeing the lights going crazy. But also, like, I'm like in my mind, I'm literally laying there trying to sleep, not being able to sleep, going, how would I set this room up? And I'm like, I'm gonna put packing blankets on the walls and the ceilings, and then I'm gonna cover them with pretty like fabric and just kind of go all out, right? And make this like safe space for my dog. And so now this is like a goal I have in life.
Yes, I mean, I agree. So I feel like that is a really good point to make. I have a cat, and I obviously don't want to lose that cat. So
Yeah.
whenever I have people come over, I have like a way of doing things to ensure that the cat's safe away from the kids. We have kids. We have kids' friends coming over who don't have cats. And we have doors opening and closing to the patio and the backyard. So I have set up Van Gogh's safe space as my office, even though it is still noisy. It has a window. It is kind of like where I put him when I'm enclosing him somewhere. So the idea of having a safe space is something that's not just for fireworks, it's for everything. It's like
Yeah.
if you have a pet and you have kids, you have a party that you're hosting in the coming weeks, like start preparing these spaces for your pet and always go back to that space. Don't go into your room this time, the office next time, the guest room the third time. Like always the same room is such a great way. And then you can just keep adding like soothing things and kind of tweaking stuff in that same room. For example, I have a litter box obviously in here because I do close the door so he can't access the robot. I have a bed next to a window. I have toys and scratching boards and things. I feed him in here when we're going, like that morning I feed him in here, so he's got a bowl, he's reminded that this is his like little space. We actually just ordered cat shelves to put up around so that if he does want to like entertain himself while we're having fun outside with the kids, he can do that. So just if you're planning a safe space, just make sure it's usually, I mean, there are exceptions to every rule, but usually the same space so that they get used to that, associating that with like a space that they are going to go to when they need cover, when they need to den, if you want to use that terminology. But don't switch it up on them because then they'll never get like kind of cozy in that space. And obviously the accoutrement that you need are going to vary based on your pet's age, species, size, etc., etc. So Van Gogh is just in here sniffing around because he's like, this is my room. Why are you here? Because I was traveling last week, so he's like, I'm the only one who comes in here now because I've been working from Seattle last week and like my mom's place the week before, so it's like he's like, hey, somebody's back in my space. But it's also about putting up those like pheromones and like you said, like maybe window treatments to like drown out the sound, drown out the light, and like you said, CMADSR, my dog still senses the fireworks, and that is so true because really we all do.
Yeah.
We all do. Like I don't need to hear them to know that there's like a banging going on around outside. Primally, we all associate noise with danger, right?
Yeah.
Like we're all
it's like loud
that way.
kind of, yeah.
And it's that banging. It's not just the noise. It's kind of like you feel like if they're close enough, you feel the earth shake a little bit. If they're big enough. Recently we had people in an Airbnb up the street who, according to my neighbor, were using like commercial fireworks. And like it was so loud, it sounded like bombing outside, and I didn't see them. It was late at night. But definitely, you know, it's way more than just noise. Even though noise is kind of like where they start, you know, when it comes to like thunderstorms too. like my dog feels them before they even roll
Mm-hmm.
in, and that's just because of changes in the barometric pressure. But we are going to talk about noise specifically because that's really all we can address. We can address their general like demeanor and their general nervousness as well, but like we can't control that, your house may shake if they're using, commercial grade fireworks down the street. And people in urban environments, like that's reality for you. Like I remember being in DC, Alexandria, where if you were in any of those condos near the Potomac, you were gonna feel that firework like right above you because you are so close to the downtown area where everybody congregates and celebrates. So
Yeah.
again, it's all about figuring out how close you are to the firework, how bad your pet's gonna react, and dealing with that kind of like it's like math, right? It's like an equation. Like
Yeah.
how bad is it gonna be? How many layers do I need?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And like the more the years go on, the people around me, my neighbors, oh my gosh, it's like every single one of them are just setting off fireworks for everything. I am learning that there are holidays I didn't know existed because they're setting them off all the time. And I'm like, why are they being set off today? I have no idea what today even it
It's
happens
just a
so
Saturday.
often.
Like
Yeah.
now it's like graduations,
Oh my God.
right?
My
Like
kid
Mother's Day,
graduated
Father's Day.
kindergarten. Like,
Yeah, kindergarten graduation. Don't worry, we're not doing that for my kids' kindergarten graduation. But like I've seen people do it for Father's Day, Mother's Day. Like, why are we celebrating with fireworks? Like, I don't understand.
yeah.
But it is something that is much more common now because they're so easy to get. Like,
Yeah.
and it depends on what state you're into because some states like they're more controlled than others.
Mm-hmm.
In Texas, I mean, I've seen fireworks at Target, right? So like
It's crazy.
they're
Yes.
everywhere. And then Florida's even worse because I think Florida allows like more potent fireworks to be purchased by like just anybody. And in Miami, for example, we don't just do fireworks. I don't do any of it. So I'm going to say we just as a Miamian. We do fireworks and people shoot guns
Ah,
as
okay.
celebration. So
Yeah.
New Year's Eve, you have the fireworks, you have the gunshots. I believe that July 4th will be no different. So it's really traumatizing for dogs because it does sound like the end of the world. They have no idea why. And then a lot of times you couple that with like the noise of people yelling and screaming, having
Mm-hmm.
a good time, but to them context, right? They don't know why. People are out front of their yard, like out in their front yard, on the street, screaming, merrymaking, but it sounds like a total invasion, an attack from who knows where and why.
Yeah.
So from a pet's perspective, it's absolutely terrifying, and it's no wonder that they go into like fight or flight or freeze, right? Because it really is an invasion of sorts to their tranquility otherwise, right? Like they have lived, my dog's lived here for 7 years now. She's used to it being a certain way, and if somebody decides to have a party across the street, that's different for her. And if somebody decides to add fireworks and gunshots to that party, that's definitely upping the ante a little bit. So from her perspective, it's like, what in the world? And even Van Gogh, who's like the chillest cat, who like smells my robot and like walks around it. Like Kira's like down the stairs, around the corner when the robot starts up here. Van Gogh's sniffing it, but like when there is any kind of fireworks, he starts to get really like confused and I don't see him exhibiting the same signs of stress that she does, but there's stress there.
Yeah. Yeah. So sadly, I think the first thing I want to say, and this was a trend a few years ago that just infuriated me. Do not set off fireworks right next to your dog. Like, do you remember when people were doing that a few years ago and putting it on social media? I think somebody even had their dog taken from them because that's not okay, right? Like, that is not okay. So do not do that, but don't have your pets outside or at all.
At
Like,
all.
plan around,
Inside. Yeah.
yes, and safely inside. Like, if you know, or even if you don't know because you haven't been through this with one of your pets before, you have a new pet, don't risk it. Don't let them just have free run of the house. Set up set up a safe space for them where they do not have access to a entryway, whether that's a door or window or whatever you may be planning on opening at some point during the night. Um, I have talked to people in the past who are like, oh, I don't know how my dog reacts to fireworks because I'm never there. Which, okay, that first of all, like I don't know how people live like that. But that's just me. That's my opinion. Sadly, the last person that told me that came home on New Year's Eve after a party, and I guess one of their children had come home earlier and their dog got out and days later was found had been hit by a car on the side of the road like a mile down the street. And it's like literally days before that she was like, yeah, I've never been there, I don't know how my dog would react, like I don't know how
Well,
they act, like
they, you know, so just so that those watching, I'm sure if you're watching and you have a pet that is scared of noise phobic, however you want to describe it, then you know that it's very common. But studies indicate, and I found this online, that between a quarter and a half of the pet dog population is affected by noise fear, noise phobia, noise fear. So between a quarter and a half, so 25 to 50%, fireworks are the most common trigger because, again, they are very, very loud, followed by storms and gunshots. Okay, so this is not uncommon. Your dog is not unique in that they are scared. On the contrary, what's unique is when a dog does not care.
yeah,
That
yeah,
is unique, and that is wow, like your dog is not affected. Because I think even these studies, I mean, they study a small sample size and they're not, studying based on breeds
yeah,
and stuff. So you never really know your specific dog if they are genetically predisposed or anything like that, because that does also seem to be the case. In some breeds, they are more noise phobic than others. Maybe they're more sensitive to hearing than others. We don't know. The research is, iffy at best, but we know that it's common. And so you want to err on the side of my dog is going to be affected. My cat is going to be affected. Even if you've
mm-hmm.
never seen signs, we
Yeah,
think of signs as the dog that like ate through the drywall because they were so scared. We see the signs sometimes as like a dog that hurt himself trying to get out of a crate because he was just like in
yeah,
such a panic. But those are extreme
mm-hmm.
signs. Those are not what most of us are going to see unless we make a huge mistake. Like if you're bringing in your dog from outside and crating them for the first time during fireworks, you're probably setting your dog up for that
Mm-hmm.
high of a response, because this is not the time to just throw an untrained dog into a crate. Like
Yeah,
that would just be like giving them more to be scared of than rather than less. And I don't care if you think they're going to pee on your floor. Like this is not the time to do that. You should have crate trained them before. Right now you have 2.5 weeks, so
mm-hmm.
you can start crate training. Actually, right, if you started right now, you could make some progress, depending on how willing your dog is to accept it. But it's one of those things that like most of us are going to see pacing, most of us are going to see panting, most of us are going to see clinginess. My dog cowers. She just like kind of lays down. She looks for a space where she feels like it's the middle of the house where she's further away from doors and windows, and she just kind of sits, lays down, and shakes.
Mm-hmm.
She just shakes, and that happens during
Yeah,
thunderstorms, during fireworks, during any kind of loud noises. I've even seen her do that when we have like any kind of fighter jets flying over. She's kind of like, "What is that?" When you live close to a base, a military
yeah,
base, or like an airport, those things happen. So those are the signs you're probably going to see. And just because they're not destroying your house, just because they're not like exhibiting hugely, hugely dangerous behaviors, doesn't mean that they're not experiencing trauma.
yeah,
It doesn't mean that that trauma doesn't have the potential to escalate. So that's why we are really adamant about prevention, because if you don't prevent, yes, you'll learn your lesson, but you might have actually made the situation worse by letting them have that terrifying experience instead of putting them in a safe room, bringing them inside, giving them some CBD or talking to your veterinarian about meds if they need them. All those things that you can do, we want you to do them not just for July 4th, but for the life of your dog.
yeah.
Because that's what's really important to know is that these things have a way of escalating, not de-escalating. Unless we try really hard and work with a trainer to desensitize to noise, we can pretty much be sure that every noisy event is going to reinforce their fear, not the contrary.
Oh, oh my gosh, yes. And training is really, really important, but it's also something that people do need to realize that, yeah, you can start it right now. You're probably not going to make enough progress between now and July 4th to rely on that,
Yeah.
and understand that these events, I mean, especially when we don't even know they're going to be happening, like we know it's going to happen on July 4th,
Yes.
but on, times when we don't really know that it's even going to happen, it's always going to be a setback. We have to realize that like up front and know that it's going to happen, and we just have to kind of plan around that and keep that in mind and understand that even if, yeah, go ahead and start today, but
Well,
we're going to
today
have
you should start crate
to.
training if you haven't crate
Oh my
acclimated your
gosh.
dog to a crate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today do that, but the fear training it could take 2 years. It literally
Oh,
could take
yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
So crate training is a lot easier if you do it right, if the dog is open to it, because a lot of dogs have crate trauma. So let's say you have an outdoor dog, a hunting dog, whatever. Not my cup of tea, but everybody does what they do. But like, let's say that you want to be responsible and bring your pet in, your outdoor dog, which I know you're in Texas, I'm in Texas. We have a lot of outdoor dogs here. And they're not used to being inside. And of course, the person's like, well, I'm not bringing them inside. They're going to pee on my floor. They're going to chew my furniture or whatever. Well, too bad, so sad, because that dog is a danger to himself and others if you leave him outside. So yes, you can start trying to crate train your dog, bringing it into like a very nice place, leave the crate in the same place, use high level treats, hot dogs kind of thing, like really stinky, smelly, yummy stuff, whatever your dog responds to, and start treating them every time they go in, leave the door open little by little. KPSA, Karen Pryor, has a great like step-by-step on her website for crate training. And if you were to start now, you could probably really make some headway if you did like
Yeah.
maybe twice a day for the next 2.5 weeks. My sister acclimated her dog to like his travel crate really well with hot dogs. Like she had never used them before. She had trained him, and he never really was excited about the crate. Now, like, we were at the airport and he's like going in and coming out and coming in and coming out, and we're like, we just need you to go in there and sit so they can see that it's the right size. But because of the hot dogs, he was like, in, out,
Yeah.
where's my hot dog? We didn't have any. So but this is about as much time as you need to start acclimating your dog to a crate, assuming they don't have any previous trauma. But a dog with noise phobia, like, unless you make that like your life's mission, like, I don't know that is going to be something you can train out of them. You can definitely help alleviate it with training, but at the end of the day, like, some dogs are just not as comfortable in this world as we would like them to be, and there's nothing we can really do about that, right? Like, we all have personalities, so do they. We all have sensitivities, so do they. You can't teach a little kid who hates peanut butter to eat it. You can't teach a dog who hates noise to like it. Like, it's just you just can't. You can traumatize them along the way, though, if you really push hard enough.
Yeah.
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 But so the biggest thing is, for those of you who have puppies, you probably can socialize if they are young enough. So this is why socialization is so important, because you can actually help your dog live in this world a little with more ease when you start early. But for the vast majority of us, those developmental stages are over. So we cannot go back in time and desensitize our dogs or socialize our dogs to sounds. So now it's just management, which is what we call basically everything that you do that isn't like actively training with your dog or your cat is management. Your dog wants to be an escape artist, a gate before the exit is management. All these things that we do, these are management, because it's not always as easy to train behaviors out of our dogs or in our cats, especially too, because we know that cats hide a lot of these things. So we don't know until it's a really big problem. So first things first, we've talked about the safe room. Safe
Yeah.
room, basically, think about it from a intruder perspective. The fireworks are the intruder, and we need a safe room to get our pets into. What do you like to have in your safe room?
So certainly, like one of my top things would be some sort of like noise machine for like calming. There are some that are made just for pets, which are really cool, really fun. If nothing else, some like calming music,
Classical,
like
yeah.
spa music, or yeah,
Yes.
some sort of music to help. And it doesn't even have to be really loud. Though for some dogs, loud might work. Like you've got to kind of figure that out to see what's going to work better for your animal. Cats too, but some sort of like noise machine to help with
Yeah.
that. You mentioned pheromones, which are great. Flower essences would be great. A diffuser for veterinary essential oils would be great. And then I I think having some sort of light that I would prefer something that we could like dim that maybe isn't too super bright. But I saw a really cool hack the other day. Somebody actually did it in their refrigerator, but they took just like this like red plastic, like clear red plastic, and put it over the light so that it was, I mean, like a fake red light kind of thing, just to get those harsh blue lights away, because blue lights are very, very disruptive. So if we're looking for like a calming environment, I think that could be beneficial as well,
Yes.
doing some sort of red light.
And they have color sounds too. So there's like red noise and pink
Oh
noise and
yeah.
things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also something, if you're looking at the colors of noise and of light, there, if you Google it, you'll see like what each is beneficial for. My sister just had a baby, and I keep being like, she uses white noise, and I'm like, have you heard about red noise? It's supposed to help people sleep more, but these are like things that are just coming out. And I often find that if it helps, us, it usually helps other mammals in the same
Mm-hmm.
way. So it's worth a try. And a lot of these new noise machines come with white noise, pink noise, yellow noise, whatever colors noises they have now. And it's not always about masking the sound. It's also about soothing. So I like the idea of doing both, like the sound machine and music. I will say that I have programmed Alexa downstairs to play classical music every day. Just because I'm home most of the days, but if I'm not, like I know that Kira starts to get antsy. Like, where is
Mm-hmm.
she? It's about to be dinner time. So, like, studies have shown that classical music and reggae are the
Yeah,
most
right.
soothing to dogs. We don't really study cats that much, poor things. So, we don't know what soothes them, but we can assume that affects or helps them too. What I find though is that Alexa plays very like intense classical music. So what
Oh
I'm doing to help Kira, sometimes I'm like, Alexa off, because it's like
yeah,
stressed me out.
yeah,
Because it's like very like symphony, like 100 level 100,
mm-hmm.
right? So maybe like you said, a spa music, like a Reiki music would be one that kind of doesn't have the highs and the lows of
Mm-hmm.
classical, something like that. So I'm going to actually change it for when I'm gone in July. I'm going to change it to something like Reiki music or reggae. I don't know, it's summer. Maybe we'll put a little reggae on there for them. But make sure that you run and watch your pet when you
Yeah.
play this music, because if they get up and leave the room, that's not the music you want to program for
Mm-hmm.
them. And I've seen Kira kind of glance over at the Alexa like, dang, that's loud. And it really
Yeah.
is, and it's classical music, which is supposed to be soothing to dogs. There is obviously that one DVD or CD, whatever they're called now, I forget, but that it's on YouTube and you can buy it, where it's like it's like soothing music
Oh,
or calming music for
for
dogs.
yeah.
That was specifically studied for dogs. It's old. I think you can get it free on YouTube and just play it for hours over and over again. Maybe it's on Amazon Music too. I haven't looked, but that's obviously a surefire one because I do think it's like a little more mellow classical rather than like the Flight of the Bumblebees. It's just like
Yeah.
I'm like cooking and I'm like, Alexa, please turn that off.
Yeah, but there are, differences obviously in cats and dogs. I know my cat who had, for whatever reason, my boys are fine. It's my girls that are not fine. My boys don't care. They're like, you got food? What's going on? Why are you not feeding me? Like,
Right.
that's all they care about. But my girls are like, no, get me away. Get this away. Get me away from this. So my female cat, she either wants to be behind the washer or under the bed. So I give her that. Like that, if that's what she wants, that's what I give her. And I do the
Absolutely.
noise machine, and I will do like the flower essences in her food before it all starts, or whatever's going on. As long as I know about it. Like thunderstorms, she doesn't like thunderstorms anymore either, and I can never predict those.
Right.
Um, but even even if the weather app is like, oh, it's going to thunderstorm, it usually doesn't. And then it
Weather
does
app,
when it doesn't.
yeah,
I
they're
know.
not very reliable.
Right. So I kind of let her do her thing. Where she is going to be most comfortable, that's where I'm going to let her be, and that's what I'm going to try to set up the space for her. Um, my dog, and this is something, so with dog, I feel like we do have a lot more that we can do with our dogs. I think, we can do things for our cats. I just think some of the things that we can do for our dogs are very different than what my cat would not accept a lick mat, right? Whereas licking and chewing are very soothing for our dogs. So like if we can get them started on something like that early, it's soothing to them. It wears them out. Do like we know something's coming, wear them out. Like take them on a longer walk than usual. Play with them longer than usual. Play with them harder than usual, to really kind of tire them. So it's harder for them to get like really excited
Worked
in the
up,
moment,
yes.
right? Yeah. I mean, they're still going to be like their nervous system is going to react, their adrenals are going to react, like it's still going to happen, but we can kind of modulate it a little bit with these things. um, and so yeah, all the enrichment, the play, the walks, the lick mats, chewing, it might even be, so like for Kim, she gets in one of these she can't handle it kind of situations, and she freaks out and has all the nervousness. It really messes with her stomach. So, like, if I know ahead of time, then maybe I'm going to give them a lighter dinner, or maybe that's the meal that you just give them a raw meaty bone for that meal because they're getting the chewing to kind of wear them out a little bit and calm them down, but they're not getting like this full blown
Yes,
meal.
yeah. We
Um,
feed around 4:30 every day, every afternoon, so that seems to help. But I will definitely kind of make it a smaller meal. I will
mhm.
reduce the portion and then make it up the next morning
Yeah,
or the next evening because she might still be worked up the next
yeah,
morning too, depending on how late it
yeah,
goes, how tired she is. So yeah, I you have to be, and it's funny because we're saying all these things, and I think people are gonna be like, oh my God, overkill. And it's like that is the
yeah.
reality of
It
a
is.
pet person who has a pet that is noise phobic. I have a
Yeah.
friend, Jeannie Taylor, who's out of Charleston. She's a pet photographer. She is a super rescue advocate. She photographs pets in the shelters. I mean, I've known her through the pet industry. She took a ton of the photos that are out here, and she is a noise phobic dog. And her holidays, when it or her, like if there's a hurricane coming or like a cold front that turns into like 3 days of storms, her
Yeah.
life is mitigating,
Hmm.
managing these reactions from her dog, and that
It
is
is.
how serious it does get. And some dogs will respond. We have Tara Lee on YouTube saying CBD worked great for her previous dog or their previous dog, who was so fearful of fireworks and thunder. And yes, CBD, especially if you have a quality CBD product, don't just buy anything. Please,
Yes.
you're wasting your money. We like CBD Dog Health, all of their products. We completely encourage you to try. they're super safe. You can even, double the dose on these days, and it's still super safe. So, like, we obviously are all for those. But like a lot of people have tried CBD and been like, that doesn't work, and it's probably because it's not a good product, or it's because that is not enough, right? Like
Yeah.
that dog could need 3 times that dosage in order for it to even bring its nervous system down slightly, right? So yes, these are all things that seem like overkill and oh my gosh, what a commitment. But that's why Jessica said, like, I don't know how you even leave your dog under these circumstances. Like, the first thing is, if you have a dog that is really truly noise phobic and firework phobic, you're at home. You're at home with them. Like, this year, obviously, we're going to be traveling. Chris is going to be on his way back to El Paso. But I'm not too worried because of my location, because we always travel in July, because she's used to it, and because we have trazodone, we have CBD, we have calming treats, we have all the things, and our pet sitter knows her and knows what to do, and he'll be here during the bulk of, like, the fireworks, and, like, if she hears 2 of them that whole night will probably be a lot. But, like, if I lived in DC proper, I would be home with my dog. This same dog, but just knowing how celebrated it is in DC. It's, Independence Day, big party on the Potomac, right? So, like, yes, I'd be there because it's a different amount of, the trigger is just coming faster and harder for her there than it would be here. So we have the CBD. Do you want to add anything about CBD since it's been mentioned?
Yeah, I think full spectrum, first of all, you do want full spectrum CBD, and it's not something to start the day of.
Yeah.
I think we need to get, so the endocannabinoid system is really we don't talk about it enough.
We don't study it enough.
Yeah, we're starting to study it more, which is great, and we're starting to even teach about it in vet school, which is wonderful, in some vet schools. But it is the master system of the body, and so it's not like we only want to reach for CBD, or, to be fair, it's a full spectrum hemp extract. That's what we're looking for. Like, we call it CBD out of convenience. We all know what that is. But what we're really looking for is what it's called is a full spectrum hemp extract. So when we think about the best way to utilize products like this, it is to regulate the body, every system in the body. So it's not something that we just want to reach for when we know our pet is going to have a freak out. This is something that we can implement, and I am not a supplement person. That is not my thing to be like, you get this supplement and you get that. No. But I do think most, not necessarily all, but most mammals could benefit from a full spectrum hemp extract because of the world we live in. We don't live in a state of homeostasis in our bodies. And this particular product can help us get there. So starting your pet on it and having them on it is this is something we do every day for them at a low dose, so that you're going to notice it and every animal is different. So there are dosing guidelines, but because we kind of have to put those out there, but every animal is different and is going to, there are some animals that 1 drop is going to be enough. There are others that are going to need a whole heck of a lot more. And so getting it to where we have this baseline every day, then when we need it on occasions like this, we can bump it up. We can add other adaptogens to it. So if we're talking about CBD dog health, for example, their Calm has lavender in it, which technically Dr. Silver says is not an adaptogen, but still works really well with the endocannabinoid system. The Ease has frankincense in it, which also works very. Ashwagandha is an adaptogen that we can layer in. So finding all of these different adaptogens that we can layer, or adaptogen like, if I'm talking about lavender, for example, um, that we can layer together in these times when we need more,
Yeah.
that that's a better way to utilize it. So yes, that's all I wanted to add.
Well, speaking of ashwagandha, I do believe that WinPro Pets calming chews, they have ashwagandha in them as well. And I have found that those are fantastic for my dog on an everyday basis just because of what is in there. It's an anti-inflammatory porcine plasma. It has ashwagandha. It helps her just every day. I have two very active children, and I have a cat that likes to play with my dog when she doesn't want to play with the dog. So I do feel like I like to give her something that's going to, like, help her as she's aging with the porcine plasma, but also add the ashwagandha to it. And that is something that can be used alongside other ones of the WinPro Pet supplements, but also alongside CBD. My sister had a baby. What did I give her? I gave her CBD Dog Health Calm, or the calming one. I gave her WinPro Pets calming treats, and I gave her another product that I spray on their food. And let me tell you something. I did that because I was like, give him it all, give it all, give it all. He's a super uptight dog who just had his life wrecked by a new baby who's screaming all night. He's super protective of my sister. All these people are there to help her and see her and give her gifts, and he's freaking out. So I was like, throw it all at, like, throw the spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks. And he's still taking a lot of those things. And my sister says that when she runs out, she sees a difference in him. It could just be that she is maybe hyper concerned about his well-being. It doesn't want to not give him those things, but they do help, especially if you find that something is helpful. Like, I remember when Titan was on a mobility chew from WinPro, when I ran out, I could see him deteriorating. The second I started again, I could see him. But I've used other supplements where, like, if I ran out, I didn't see any difference. You know what I mean? So I was
Yeah.
like, is he
Yeah.
really benefiting from this? I don't know. So if you have the ability to kind of do a few things to layer, just know that it could be too much at one time. It also could upset their stomach, so you don't want to do it that day. You want to kind of try slowly but surely. So what I did with my sister's dog when she had the baby was I sent my mom with the chews first. So he was on the chews for like a month before I showed up with the CBD Dog Health and the other stuff. And so we layered it. We layered it for him, and it started to help. But a lot of these things, like you said, are things you want to use every day. They are cumulative in a way, like kind of like when you have an injury to your arm and you're taking Motrin. Like, that first Motrin's not going to help as much as that fourth Motrin because it is cumulative, right? Like, that inflammation is coming down slowly but surely. Not that either one of us pops Motrin all the time, but that's kind of the idea, is that these things taken once are not as effective as when your body gets to benefit from them over the course of at least a few days. And one thing I will say is, I don't want us to, like, freak people out. Like, I don't want people to be like, oh my God, I need to do all these things, because the biggest thing for your pet is to see you calm. So seeing you calm, seeing you kind of under control, having the plan in place is really going to soothe your pet too. So, like, don't freak out. Like, have a plan. Yes, layer stuff. Start ordering now. If you don't have CBD Dog Health, you're going to need probably a week before it arrives. WinPro Pet too, like, I live in El Paso, and my sister got it after like 2 days when I shipped it to Miami, but it took about a week to get to me, right? Depending on where it's coming from. I think that it's coming from Iowa, I believe. So it is, bigger cities get things quicker than smaller cities. And if you feel like your pet, you've used all these things in the past and they just haven't helped, now is the time to call your vet. Like, right now. Do not wait for the 3rd of July to call your vet to ask for a prescription. It is not fair for your vet, it's not fair for the team, and it's not fair for your pet to, for you to kind of just, like, leave it to the last minute. So right now, that's why we did this 2.5 weeks before July 4th is because if you are planning on ordering stuff or asking for help, please do so ASAP. And we have comments from Calming Creek Healing. EFT tapping is super helpful too. Calming Creek Healing, do you have any videos or anything that you want to share, specifically for pets, how EFT helps or how to do it? By all means, feel free to share that in this video. And then we have PA Photography Homes, PA Photography Homes. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. We Comfort has omega-3 oils with cannabis extract also. And yes, meditation music. So when you go to meditation music, technically it's Reiki music is how you'll find it, R-E-I-K-A or R-E-I-K-I music. But if you put spa music and meditation music or yoga music, you should get similar stuff. So it's not hard to find that kind of music. It's all kind of the same. It's all very soothing, and I do recommend it over classical, unless you have like a specific playlist that you like.
Mm-hmm.
My sister's a big classical music fan, so she would probably tell me exactly what songs to put on a playlist. I'm not, so I'll probably stick to reggae. I'm more of a reggae girl than classical, to be honest. So I'll stick to reggae over here.
Yeah, I'm like, somebody puts classical music on, I'm like, you okay? You all right? You sure? We good? We good over here?
Yeah.
I get it though. I get it.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, this is really an important conversation to have now just because of the timing.
Yeah.
We have used also when it comes to pharmaceuticals, like not all the pharmaceuticals are going to help. We started with gabapentin. So my dog Titan was on gabapentin, and this was years ago. He was on it for inflammation, old age, all the things that they give you gabapentin for. And I talked to my vet and I said, Kira, different dog, is super noise phobic. Fireworks are coming up. What can I do? And she said, you already have gabapentin, give her gabapentin, because gabapentin's a downer. So like you said, like their reaction's not going to be as big. Didn't do anything. It just didn't help her. It didn't help her at all. Like I didn't see a difference. So we went to trazodone. Trazodone is a hefty medicine. Her dosage is a pill. I don't remember what the actual milligrams is, but like the pills that I was given, one of them is supposed to be her dose. I don't do a whole pill because it like knocks her out. I'll do a quarter to a half, and that's plenty for her. So again, finding out what works, what doesn't, what dosage is the best. I've said this before. I had a dog who was my biggest dog ever, who was the most sensitive dog to any of these like downers. And I mean, I think it was something that we gave them for a long road trip, and she really didn't need it, but like it was one of those things where I was like giving it to Titan. I was like, let me give her a little bit. I gave her Titan's dose, and Titan was fine. 6 hours later, she was walking into walls. Like so uncoordinated, So really, truly trying these pharmaceuticals prior and working your dosage up is just like the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, even my dog Kim, I did the first year we were here. I got to the point where like I had tried so many things, and we did try trazodone, and it is a very powerful sedative, but her anxiety broke through, and it wasn't even working for her. So I try different things. I have valerian root is really calming. For some dogs, there's a combo called GABA-Val that can be really good. It worked for Kim in that it was calming enough, but it also had negative respiratory issues that made me not want to give it to her again.
Just with GABA and valerian together? Mm-hmm. Was there anything else in there?
I'd have to double check, but I talked to Rita Hogan about it, and she was like, it's rare, but that's what's happened with GABA.
Wow. Which one? Because of the GABA or the valerian?
I think it's the GABA.
Yeah. It can be strong.
Yeah. So, just, trying different things and layering different things, and it takes a lot of trial and error. I mean, that's just the reality. And it doesn't matter if you're using natural or pharmaceutical. Um, you got to figure out what's going to be
Yeah,
right
or
for
a
your animal.
combination.
Yeah.
And I will say something for those that have not really dug into the pheromones. It's just a plug-in. And you can, like I have a cat and a dog. You can use them simultaneously. They only affect the pet that has those pheromones. So like you don't have to worry about your cat getting like all worked up about the dog pheromones negatively or positively. They just won't really react to them versus, the other species. So I have, for example, in the safe room for my cat, my dog can't come in because she'll go into the litter box. So I have that door only able to open for him. So in this room, he has a plug-in just for, for feline. But then where my dog likes to hang out, the hallway here or downstairs, I have the dog plug-ins. And then in his other room, because my cat has two rooms, in his other room, I put another feline. So if he's looking for a place to relax, he can be like kind of like drawn to these places. And then I'm very intentional about where I plug it in for my dog because dogs are more like they have a bed, they kind of go there. Whereas cats, I mean, my cat rotates the whole house throughout the day. So that's one thing about the plugins. You don't have to worry about it messing with other species. It's just for the species. I actually was worried about that. I was like, wait, can I do both plugins even though like is it gonna like affect the other dog, the cat, the dog negatively? And I reached out to all of my friends that would know the answers to that, and they were like, no, there's never been anything said
Yeah.
that like a dog house cannot have a feline pheromone plug-in or vice versa. And
Yeah.
those are relatively cheap, and they last about a month, and then you can just order the refills. So it's like it comes with a plug-in and a little thing, and it doesn't smell at all. So if you are worried about like the fragrances in your home, that's not how it works. It's just a pheromone that only they can pick up on. And
Thank you, Melissa, for all of the EFT info.
yes. So Calming Creek Healing did give us a YouTube link
Yeah.
um, for tapping and specifically for fireworks. So EFT or emotional freedom technique is a method that involves tapping on specific meridian points on the body, similar to those used in acupuncture and acupressure. EFT helps balance the body's energy system and alleviate, release emotional and physical issues. I've had EFT done. It's actually wonderful. And yeah, it's for all species. We all have meridian points. So if the animal can get acupuncture or acupressure, you can use EFT. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I think. Oh, I did want to say for our cats, if we're going to do a full spectrum hemp extract on our cats, that can be really difficult to get into them, as any of us cats know. So, one thing we can do is put it in the palm of our hand and then rub it on their paw pads. So, I just wanted to mention that in case people are curious.
Yes, and with CBD dog health, and most hemp extracts, they do tell you that the best place to put
Yeah.
it is on the gum.
Mm-hmm.
For example, my sister's dog, I wasn't going to do that. He's a biter. I wasn't going to do that. So, honestly, I would just kind of put it in his food, right on top of his food. I know it's not as direct, I know it's not as good, but it was another way of getting it in without, kind of invading his space and getting my face bitten off. So you do what you can, right? Like
Yeah.
that's really what it is. It comes down to is doing what you can. And CBD Dog Health did come out with a treat for dogs. So if your dog is really reluctant to that extract being put into his mouth or her mouth, Kira doesn't like it, but she lets me do it because I immediately give her the WinPro Pet. I give her one of those and she loves those. So we kind of like do in the morning and in the evening, 1 and 1. So her dosage is I do half CBD in the morning, half CBD at night, half WinPro in the morning, half WinPro at night. So we have kind of like a routine down, which also again does help because I'm more calm, she's more calm, everybody knows what's happening, and it's kind of becomes old news after a while. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Having a routine down and keeping your routine. So that kind of goes back to being home. So even though it's a holiday or you want to celebrate or whatever, like keeping your routine, keeping things on like
Yeah.
what time you normally go to bed, whatever is going, like keep it the
Yeah.
same. That is going to be so helpful for your pets. And yeah, I just don't know. I can't travel. I can't be away. I have to be here.
Yeah. Well, another thing is because I was a professional pet sitter for a really long time, and that's one of the busiest times of year to pet sit is over July 4th weekend or week. Let your pet sitter know. Choose your pet sitter accordingly. If your pet has really big reactions to noises, the kid next door is not going to know what to do with that.
Mm-mm.
The kid next door is not professionally ready, personally ready for that kind of a challenge. So make sure you're hiring a professional pet sitter that is insured, bonded, licensed where in your area if it's necessary. Why? Because if your dog does go missing, if your dog bites somebody because of fear, you will want that insurance coverage. You will want to make sure that your dog is covered or your loss is covered by insurance if your dog does go missing because somebody opened the door and the dog sprinted out, they didn't know. But even if you're working with a professional, which is the only pet sitter I would ever recommend for you, just because I've been there and I know what challenges we face, and only adults are ready for that challenge, only insured people are ready for that challenge. Otherwise, your your home insurance is going to have to cover that kid if it gets bit because your dog was scared. You don't want that. But
Yeah,
even if that's the case, like you have a professional, tell them that your dog has a history of noise phobia. Tell them that you're concerned. Extend the visit in the evening on July 4th if possible. Stay in communication with them. Have your neighbor back you up if you have a neighbor that's a friend, and if something happens, maybe like they can kind of keep an eye out for the pet sitter. Meet the pet sitter outside. How's the dog doing? It takes a village, and sometimes if you can't not be there, trust your pet sitter, your professional pet sitter, and engage your neighbors just to back up your pet sitter, not to take their place, but to be there in case they need some kind of help, in case something goes wrong, in case if your dog's barking, for example, because they're so worked up and your pet sitter's not coming for another hour, your neighbor might be able to call you and you can call your pet sitter to get them there early. So just use your resources, really. Like, think about how you're going to make it so that if you can't be there, your pet will still be taken care of.
mm-hmm.
And yes,
Yeah,
we'll finish this with what PA Photography Homes says. PA Photography Homes, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I don't want to mess it up. If only they banned fireworks instead. It would be lovely. Wouldn't that be amazing? We would be talking about, I don't know what.
yeah.
We
I
could
mean,
be
I
talking
get
about
it.
dog
Like,
eyebrows.
I like fireworks. I wish
Do
I
you
could
really?
be that person. I like them. I wish I could be that person going out and enjoying them, like, I did when I was a kid. I appreciate very much that on July 4th, and only on July 4th, that, people came before me and fought for the freedoms that I have now and, established this country. And regardless of what we think about it at the moment, um, regardless of what we think about it at the moment, I appreciate that that happened, and I appreciate what those fireworks stand for. Um, Most people that set off fireworks do not do it for that reason, and
Oh,
that is
no.
frustrating for me.
Right, right, yeah.
So, like, I appreciate that. I appreciate the country that I live. Like, any one of us, we could have been born anywhere in the world at any time and place, right? Like,
I was.
we are so blessed to be here.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there
I'm
are a
not a big
lot of
fireworks
pressures.
person. I never have. I love a Disney, for example. I'm a big Disney fan. I grew up in Miami, so I spent a lot of time in Orlando. And when people are lining up for the fireworks show, I'm shopping or I'm going on rides. Like, I am not a fireworks person. I'll see them on the way out. Like, it's just not for me. It's loud.
Yeah.
With little kids, it's
Yeah.
always like, this is very loud, and this is really bad for their literal
Oh, it is.
development
Yeah.
because it's so loud in these places where they're professional fireworks that I worry about our hearing. So I'm not a fireworks person, so I'm with you. I wish they banned fireworks, or if they did the noiseless ones like they do some parts of Europe. I just believe those are very expensive, and I feel like as consumers we need to demand those more. We need to be like, we do not want to go to celebrate downtown El Paso or downtown DC or downtown Richmond or wherever. We're not going unless you have silent fireworks. We need to start taking a stand, and maybe we'll see more of them. Maybe the more we demand them, the price will come down and make them attainable to all, areas. But we need to do something. I mean, it's like with technology today, AI can write a book for you about fireworks, but we can't figure out how to make them less noisy. Come on.
Oh, I know. It is. It's, yeah. We can do something about it, but it will not happen in Texas first. I promise you that.
Less in Florida. So I'm gonna be my sister's dog is gonna be in Florida, and he's gonna be with his new baby brother who cries. My 2 young children who are 4 and 6, so they're intense. Me and my mom who are loud, and my sister who's just like a new mom and overwhelmed. So that poor dog, we're going to be doing a lot of layers there too, like a lot, because Miami does get noisy, and again, it's not just fireworks there, it's gunshots too. So you can't even go outside because you're worried that something's going to ricochet off your forehead.
Right. That bullet's got to come back down.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. That was it for today. I'm thinking next week I'd love to talk about choking, because June 22nd is National Choking Prevention Day. And I know that Bow Wow Labs and Dr. Judy Morgan have partnered to educate the public on the risk factors of pet choking. Dogs choke more than cats because, well, they take more risks. But it's a very common thing. It's a very scary thing. And there are ways to prevent it. So I'm going to put that out on the table to say that we should talk about that next week. As a pet first aid instructor, that was always the most fascinating part of the course for me, because people were like, choking? I didn't think my dog could choke. And I'm like, we can all choke.
What?
All of us can choke.
Absolutely.
I know somebody who lost her brother, a 40-year-old man in Vegas, having a steak. Nobody could get it out. I mean, choking is a very real thing for everybody. So let's talk about it from a pet perspective and just learn some things and share some things that maybe keep our pets from, even just having a really scary moment. Because, not all dogs who choke will perish from it, but it's pretty scary and we want to avoid it. So let's talk about that next week.
Sounds good. Thank you guys so much for being here with us this week.
Thank you guys.
Make sure to listen. Wait, who do you have on this week on Covering Pet Hair?
You always ask me this, and I always don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I know that you have to catch up on my previous episodes. I actually will say that I had Kristen Brand, who is the founder of Emma Brands, who created the first truly noise-canceling headphones for dogs. That came out January or late December of 23. She was on Shark Tank. She did tell me that about 2 weeks and you can have them trained to accept these things. Not only do they noise cancel, but they also have music in there, so you can kind of mask the sound. So that one I actually highly recommend. As for who's coming on the show this week, I don't know, because I have a lot of episodes that are recorded, but I don't know who's on my list for this week. So stay tuned.
All right, we'll check out the podcast and we'll talk to you guys.
Who's on yours?
Yeah. No, I said at the beginning, Sean from Earth Buddy.
Oh, that's right.
And we're talking about this exact topic. So
perfect. All right, don't miss it, guys. Thank you again for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.